Start.
There are the three types of mantras known as Rik, Yajur, and Sama. Rik mantras are those which are more towards perfection. That's the number of alphabets and the pronunciation style is totally fixed. Like in the first line, if you have any Dirgha Swara, in the beneath they will be only Dirgha Swara and nothing else. It is a specialty of Rik mantra. And the majority of Rik mantra, when they were put in a book, it was known as Rik Veda. Yajur doesn't follow this principle strictly. Whereas the Sam Veda, Sam mantras are more musical in nature. So the rules of Rik mantras are also not applicable on them. In the same thing, the majority of Sam mantras resulted in Sam Veda, Yajur mantras resulted in Yajur Veda. Now these three definitions you can say it's not any personal ideological expression. It is presented in a codified manner in Chandogya Upanishad. So when in the Puranic age this Vedic literature was divided, so normally the people do think that they are all three different and there's got no interrelationship between them. That's when you see in the present scenario, the pronunciation style is totally different in different contexts, especially if you see the example of Purush Sukta. In the Rig Veda it is different, in Krishna Yajurveda it is different, Shukla Yajurveda it is different, Sam Veda it is different. Whereas it is said that Vedic chanting must have only one kind of pronunciation. And why this thing is happening? None of us know about the Vedic grammar at present. Though we like to encash on that, but the present Vedic grammar, the present Sanskrit grammar, is not related with our Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit was mainly with phonetics, with the sounds, and that was fixed. Because nobody knows, and the modern Sanskrit is the only thing left for us. So that is why the definition and the pronunciation differs from state to state and from Vedic text to text. Now, how to think that Vedic literature about what is the content of the Vedas? As we know that Veda means knowledge of different things. It may be veg, it may be non-veg, it may be violence, anything. All branches of knowledge are included in Vedas. Now, regarding the contents of Vedic literature, that is, which portion of knowledge should be taken as Veda and which not, is a confusion in the society. Normally, the Vedic content, which has the names of different rishis, like Brahmarshi, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, or some kind of example, or story form, presentation, they are not taken in the Vedic literature. But who are we to decide? We are not the judge. What happens is, when any content opposes own ideology, when it opposes our own thinking, we just start labeling it as non-Vedic literature. Shruti Mata, or we can say the Vedic mantras, respects the standard and the level of every seeker or sadhaka. It knows how to explain the things. Like if you see the example of Kathopanishad or Kenopanishad, examples are there in historical form. So for a common man it may be a story, but as for a seeker, it's a message. It's a style of presentation, a different technique. And we should leave this technique on the Almighty. We should not dictate our terms that they are not a part of Vedic literature. Again, this thing is being supported by our Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad nicely. The only thing required is to decode those Shruti mantras and relate it with the all the Vedic texts presently have got. So in other words, it can be said that the scriptural or spiritual literature of India and as well as abroad do become a part of our Vedic knowledge of Vedic literature if their contents matches with each other. Sanskrit is not the criteria of Veda. But without Sanskrit, it is not a Veda or a Vedic literature. So if we take the example of Valmiki Ramayana or Veda Vyasa or Devi Andala or of Chokhamani, of any kind, any saint, of Saint Kabir Das, Sant Rahim Das, Sant Ras Khan, Sant Mirabai, we'll see that a major portion is related with our Vedic literature content. There are some parts they are being, you can say there is some confusion or it looks like they are different. But that depends on the period where the saint was born, on the environment which he lived. That is not so important. Don't pay attention on the tree. Just take the fruit, or more precisely it can be said, take the juice. See the strength. What he will do by knowing from where the fruit came or where the tree came, who is the owner of the tree, or what is the color, size and texture of the tree. No. Read it. Now, how to judge that the particular Shruti or particular line supports the total Vedic literature? Their formulas. They were used by Adi Shankaracharya, Acharya Madan Saraswati. One is Shruti Yukti Anubhuti. Second, Pancha Adhikarana. Like this we see now. Small description of everyone if we say is Shruti Yukti Anubhuti is the smallest. We say that first take any mantra, then apply your own logic, then your own experience. If all the three matches with each other, then you can accept it as a Vedic. It's quite difficult because variance doesn't match it normally with each other. So here comes Swami Ramtirtha, who said that we have become the slaves of old commentaries of the scriptures. They are all bogus until unless proved by our own experience. He was never atheist. He just believed Vedic literature nicely. But as a true seeker, a serious seeker knows that even the Vedas doesn't ask anybody to follow them blindly. Now, the second formula which comes into our picture is Panch Adhikarana. Panch Adhikarana is Vishaya, Sanchaya, Purva Paksh,